So then my friend Chloe came round and she had 2 kids. One was sitting on my lap, one was on the floor, and I was sitting by the TV, which is the other end of the room. She bent over to the microwave, turned around, did one of the kids just pinch my bum, and I was like, no, this happened to my lap, that happened to me too.
So your ghost is like a person. Welcome to House of Influence. Today I'm at the gorgeous Grays and Feather Wine Bar in Covent Garden, and I'm joined by our very own impossibly gorgeous and indefinitely kind Jess Impiazzi.
Hello!
Lovely to have you. So a lot of people will know you from their TV screens. You built your career through TV, starring on X on the Beach, Celebrity Big Brother. So you sort of capitalised on that fantastic online presence that you have. But what's it really like behind the scenes of reality TV?
I explain it like this: there's nothing actually real about it, is there? Because when are you going to be dumped on an island with a load of your exes coming up in real life? You know, so that's really unrealistic. And then the same with Celebrity Big Brother, you're taken away from all forms of communication to anyone but the people you're in there with that you've never met before. And I know I've certainly never been dumped in a house and been like, get on with it. So there's nothing real about it in that respect.
Yeah.
But I found X on the Beach more constructed.
Okay.
Where I'll go over there and have a chat, go over there and have a chat.
So the producers had more.
Yeah, they had a lot of control, and you'd be mingling with the producers all day long. Whereas Celebrity Big Brother was the opposite. So it was, you know, you were just literally dumped in, and then I think I got that syndrome. What's that syndrome called where you love your captor? Stockholm syndrome?
I don't know.
Stockholm syndrome.
Maybe.
I was certain I had it because before I got to the final and I was in there, and like every morning I heard Big Brother, I was like, oh, what have you got for me today? And like,
hello almighty.
Honestly, I thought, this is lovely noise. What do you want from me? I'll oblige. And that's kind of how it felt in there. So as I say, it was fun. It was reality to an extent. You're not reading a script.
Yeah.
But there's nothing normal about being in them situations, is there?
No, but it's great telly.
Great telly.
Great telly. So being in the public eye, obviously that launched you into the public eye. It comes with the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you obviously have a huge following on social media now. Do you get a lot of hate from people on social media? How do you deal with it if you do?
I've been quite lucky, to be honest. I don't get that much hate, but I did go on to my... you can block words from being put onto your Instagram comments. Okay. And I blocked a load.
I didn't know you could do that.
Well, so I may be getting hate, I'm just totally unaware of it.
I think that's the best way to do
so
it.
I may be getting hammered daily and just be like, oh, what a lovely community I've built here. So, but anyway, I prefer to live life looking at the positives. So even if there are some nasty comments, I've got someone did actually write something the other day saying I was cringe. And I was like, well, yeah, that's fine. I am. So, you know, some people go out their way to try and hurt you and upset you.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't really get upset by it.
Oh, that's good.
Because, I mean, I've had the occasional thing if I've ever tweeted anything a bit political where I'm trying to learn something. Yeah. And they'll be like, shut up and get your tits out.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, bloody hell. So it stopped me from even engaging in these conversations. Yeah. But now I'm glad I don't anyway, because I prefer having these conversations outside with, like, in Therapeutic Big Brother, I was in with Ann Widdecombe, politician. So I'd much rather have a conversation with her than Daniel, who sits on his sofa eating Doritos all day and drinking full fat Coke and not really doing anything with his life, because I'm sure Anne knows a bit more than he does.
No, absolutely.
So I decided that I'd probably be better off keeping it to myself and actually asking people who actually are trained in the field.
Yeah, and you've spoken openly about your relationship with Ann Widdecombe in the house, and you said at the beginning you were so nervous and you said, do not say a word. Do not say a word, Jess. And then actually she really helped you sort of come out of your show and talk about things. Is that why maybe you're more vocal about it now?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, I always, because I did modelling in the past and I went to theatre school, I was never very academic when it came to maths. English was fine, but like maths, science, I was always like, oh dear God.
Yeah.
Like, I struggled, so I didn't want to. As a kid, I felt uncomfortable sometimes talking about it. I didn't have the confidence in myself in that field. So when I went in there, I was like, Jess, you want Anne to like you. She's very scary. She's probably going to hate you, so just shut your mouth. Yeah. Best thing, just sit there in silence. And then when I remember going to the kitchen one day, and I've seen the clip, and I could tell by myself, I was like, do I say anything? And I ended up saying, so Anne, tell me about Brexit. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so brave. Did you just do? I am so brave. And we had a chat, and she really helped me because I didn't vote in Brexit. And the reason was, I said, I didn't know enough. I don't think it should have ever been put down to the public in the first place because most people were doing it for the most peculiar of reasons. And I've heard some, and I was like, well, that doesn't even make sense. Yeah. And I even understood that didn't make sense. So I was hearing the best from this party, the best from this party, but I didn't understand the thousands of years that have gone into all of that to be at this place in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I said to Anne, I didn't want to vote based on because my friend said this or my mum said this, and then I missed the vote. So I left it a bit too late. But Anne didn't tell me off for it. She said, you do realise, this is Year of the Woman on Big Brother, and you didn't vote. And I was like, I know, but I just felt it would have been a stupid, wasted vote because I didn't know what was right at the time.
Did she understand what you were where
you
were coming from?
And then she helped educate me throughout the process. So every day I would have a bit of a political class with Anne, which was fantastic.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Love that.
I loved it.
Okay, so you always wanted to be an actress, and you were fabulously good in The Seven, The Tombs, and Rhea, which are all quite spooky and sort of paranormal.
Yeah.
And the other week you went on to a sort of paranormal adventure. So is this something that you're very into?
I've always believed in ghosts, but I've never really had any firm evidence. Like, weird things happen. When I first moved out, I think I was 20, I moved into this flat, and I woke up at 3:33 every single morning.
That's weird.
Wait, it gets worse.
Oh God.
I had an ensuite bathroom.
Right.
And it had it had one of them fans that goes off by movement, right? 3:33 every morning, that went off and my door was closed. I'd be like, no, this isn't even funny now. So I started to get really scared. And people do think I'm lying here, but I'm telling the honest truth.
No, I'm a believer. I don't think I'm lying.
So I was laying in my bed, and then it jolted, and I was like, I wasn't asleep. You know when you're when you trip in your sleep, you wake yourself up. I was very much awake, so I was very aware that I couldn't get to sleep that night. So I just hid under the covers, hoping it would go away.
Best thing to do.
Honestly, the same flat, I leant over to my microwave to put some food in, and someone pinched my bum. Now you may laugh, but I'm being genuine. I'm so serious, and I actually have more evidence. No, please believe me.
I believe you.
Okay.
I believe you.
So then my friend Chloe came round, and she had 2 kids. One was sitting on my lap, one was on the floor, and I was sitting by the TV, which is the other end of the room. She bent over to the microwave, turned around, did one of the kids just pinch my bum, and I was like, no, let's touch my lap. That happened to me too.
So your ghost is like a pervert.
Then my friend Lily had the same.
Oh.
So I very much think there are ghosts. Then I moved from that flat.
Right.
And I spoke to someone who's had a person they knew lived in that flat. He got sectioned because he said there was black matter everywhere and started freaking out about demons. Got into sectioning.
Whoa.
And then 2 days later, they were like, there's nothing wrong with him.
That's crazy. I'm a believer in ghosts,
yeah.
So I'm all for that. When you hear a strange noise or you know that place is haunted or spooky and people tell you these stories, if you say it doesn't exist, I just think you're naive.
I did a paranormal investigation.
Yes, tell me about this.
This was last Saturday or Saturday before. I went to a jailhouse in Birmingham with a paranormal investigation team.
Right.
And basically, it's an abandoned prison now, but the caretaker's always there. So when I walked in, I was like, listen, is this legit? Blah, blah. She goes, listen, I won't be here on my own, and even the old policeman that used to work here won't come in this establishment. I was like, haunted. Some weird stuff happened. The footage all got erased on their cameras, might I just add, so I can't even show you. But we went into a B12...
Wait, they didn't erase the footage?
No.
So the ghosts erased the footage?
Well, they said it was just all the sound went off, and then it's like going like this.
That is crazy.
When I watched it back with them in there, so I know it was there. It was very weird. But we went into this cell, and one of the guys, we did a Ouija board, and I swear to God, I put my hands on it, and it moved. I cannot tell you how. I know so many people are like, this is nonsense, but I felt it myself. I can't explain it to you. Yeah.
So would you do another one again, or are you completely terrified?
They want me to go back to this bloody jail cell because the footage is gone. I was like, I think that's a sign. Either they want me back to kill me this time, that's why they've erased it to bring me back, or lock me in the cell because they slammed on the doors, by the way, might I add.
Okay, so are you somebody who would run away from the ghost?
Oh yeah, I cry.
Okay,
I cry very
I feel
much.
like when you can't see them, it's a little bit scary.
When the Ouija board was going, I was like this. Oh my god, and I cried, and it was moving and pointing at me, and I was just in tears.
So that footage was erased,
yeah,
and we can almost say that it's a crime. So talking of crime, the Re-Up, talk to me about that.
Yes. So this was a YouTube series.
Yes.
And it did really, really well. So the first episode got like 1.5 million views in a week or something ridiculous like that. So then they started carrying it on, and then I joined in the second episode. But then it's I think now it's on like 5 point something million views or 3.5 million or something crazy. So they're actually going to now develop it into something bigger. So I'm just waiting to see what goes on with that. But the show was my debut, and then lockdown. So you know, I did my first scenes and then left. But it was a great thing to work on with some great actors that were in Blue Story, and that's how they built their their presence up in the acting world. So it's really exciting.
So acting, this is where you see yourself in the future. If you could say this is where I want to be in 5 years, where would you say you would want to be?
Yeah, I just want to be doing series, films. I love a bit of comedy now. So I've been developing a little series with my friend Rach. So we've been working on that.
I
with my
saw on Instagram.
Quite funny. Yeah. I think my background was all theatre school. So for me to go into reality, it was fun because I was behind the camera, but it's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah,
so
you sort of get that feeling, you're like, this isn't really...
this isn't me, I'm behaving how I probably wouldn't, and the producers are telling me to do this, or it just wasn't me.
Yeah.
So now I'm actually back doing what I love, what I trained to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, okay, this is me, and I'm really, really happy in this space.
So I think the one thing that really stands out to me about you is your incredible strength, and we all know that you as this bubbly, smiley, sort of fun character, but you've really pulled yourself out of depression whilst going through enormous hardship. Can you talk to us about that and how you did that?
Yeah, sure. So I think I wrote a book, and this is basically the whole story about it. So I started off. I had a lovely childhood at the beginning, and then we had some problems with domestic violence that escalated quite badly during the course of a few years. And then from there, when I was 7, I got a scholarship to Therapeutic. I had the best time of my life. And then when I hit 17 and I joined the college, my nephew died of meningitis whilst I was looking after him, and he was only 13 months old. From that, I think it was in like 7 or 8 months after, my mum went completely blind. And after all of the things I hadn't really healed from as a child, I wasn't living a life that a child would live. I was in fear all the time because of what was going on at home. Not really healing from that, and then these 2 extra things coming on top completely just threw me.
Yeah, it's too much.
So it was too much. So I think the reason why I got to a point where I need to fix myself first before I can even enjoy life again is when I got divorced. That was like the catalyst, the kick up the bum to be like, you haven't healed all of this, now take it and go and dig through all of this and fix yourself. And for the last 3 years, that's what I've been doing, and I actually am quite bloody happy.
Yeah, that's so nice to hear though.
Thanks.
And you've spoken about your incredible relationship with your mum. You guys are so close, and you've spoken about finding happiness being the ambassador for Guide Dogs UK. How important is this non-profit organisation?
It was when my mum got her first guide dog, and I saw the difference in her, that she was able to go to the shop again. She was able to go and get herself a coffee. She could do anything that I could do now because she had the eyes of the dog. So she used to get so frustrated because, say, one of us was at work, she couldn't get out, she'd be stuck in the house.
Of course, it's terrifying.
Exactly, and now she's got that freedom again. And to see her being out and about again after a few years of just complete meltdown, let's be honest, you spend 46 years of your life of sight and then it's gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a terrible shock.
It's crazy.
So watching how much the dogs improved my mum's life, I wanted to help raise awareness and become an ambassador, help raise money, because I wanted to do that for everyone that's lost their eyesight, because I know how gut-wrenching it is for not just the person who's lost their sight, but for the family, because you can't do anything.
Yeah,
I want to help my mum, but I can't make her eyesight come back.
Absolutely.
So by having a charity that's so amazing to help them, it's the best thing I could do is to help raise money for other people to get that chance.
And then you just touched on your divorce. Do you have any sort of advice or tips for anyone watching who might be going through a divorce or a breakup?
Yeah, I think the best thing I learnt from that was to never give all of yourself to someone. I learnt that when I left my ex-husband, it was time to rediscover me and what I loved, and not just settle anymore, and not just, we're not brought on this world just to settle for something. And when I left, he was unfaithful to me, which was fine. I don't have any anguish, or is that the right word?
Yes.
Or a resentment or anything towards him, because if he hadn't have done that, I would not have grown. I wouldn't have beat my depression. I needed someone to crack me down, to give me that, okay, now is only one way up.
It's a very positive way to look at it.
And this is what it was. I began to figure out who I was again. And in that journey, I cannot thank him enough. It sounds mental, doesn't it?
No, but I think it's a really nice way to look at it. Sort of everything's come full circle.
Yeah. I do feel like me again, and I hadn't felt like that since I was 18.
Yeah.
I hadn't felt like me again. I kind of went 18 and had this terrible time, and I've kind of gone back to 18, so it's probably on 31, that's about 12 still.
So you mentioned a little briefly ago about your book. Congratulations on Silver Linings, which is now on pre-order. So your book, it's very raw, it's very honest, and you're really just putting all of your emotion, your entire life out there. Are you nervous at all about sharing so much with the world?
Do you know what? I thought about it. I was like, this is a lot of everything.
It is.
But then the reason why it's called Silver Linings is because it's traumatic things, and at the end finding the ways how to cope with them. And I wanted to have young girls in their 20s or in their late teens to be able to find this book and say, well, actually, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I should and shouldn't do now. Like, not preaching, but in a way that this is what helped me. And I swear to God, if I was back to 18 and I found a book like that, my life would have gone very differently.
I think it's one of those things where anyone can relate to it. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. It doesn't matter where you are in your life. If you read something like that, you just think, wow, it's about getting through trauma. Yeah. It's about how to change the things that have happened to us that we could sit and dwell on into a positive. And if you take things that you think are bad as a lesson, everything's always positive. So 2020 has brought new challenges, new projects. You are the editor for House of Influence.
I am, the HOI family.
So what excites you about this new role? What makes this online magazine different to any other?
Do you know what? It's the House of Influence. It's we live in this world now of social media, people growing massive followings through their influential presence online. Yeah. And there's no other online magazine that celebrates these people or goes into serious chats, serious discussions, serious topics like we do. Yeah, it's all the celebrity lifestyle, isn't it? Exactly. But Instagram, social media, YouTube have their own celebrities now, and then a lot of them are doing things that really give a good message. And I think the great thing about House of Influence is that we can highlight that for them now, where I don't think any other magazine is doing that, and it's a platform to get that message out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to be with the team. Okay, so I have got a few house questions to ask you.
Yes.
So, question 1, what would you do differently if you were starting again from scratch?
I would not have done glamour modelling and got my boobies out for a living.
Okay.
Because they're very private and I want to hide them again. Not for anyone else's eyes.
Okay, moving on. What people have had the most influence on your growth and life, and why?
I think this is quite a lot of people actually. I think firstly some authors kind of got me on the path. Wayne Dyer, he's passed away now. Gabby Bernstein were people I was watching, and Dr. Joe Dispenza. I always watch how people I want to aspire to be like did it. Will Smith even. I'll watch their YouTube videos and be like, okay.
He's very
inspirational. He's fantastic.
He does the short videos, and I finished watching them, and I think,
you're like, I got this. Yeah, well, so that's kind of like the way I kind of got myself into the right headspace. I'd go to the gym and I'd watch these people, and then I would get an overwhelming feeling of, okay, I can do this too. I'm just a mere mortal, as is Will Smith.
So do you find the gym therapeutic for you?
I have to go for my mind. Okay. So I'm trying to go at least 5 times a week it just keeps my mind on track.
At least 5 times a week.
But
sometimes
it's just a yoga class, okay?
just a bit of yoga. Just a little bit of yoga. What are your top 3 keys to success?
Belief in yourself.
Yeah.
Believing in oneself. So self-belief. There we are. Self-belief.
Self-belief.
Determination.
Okay.
And never giving up.
I like that.
Yeah.
Very positive. Your top 3 influencers that you follow, who are they?
So, a friend of mine, Marlene Anderson, she was on Love Island, and now she's kind of a great influence on people.
She has an amazing influence.
She helps young girls with eating disorders, grief, a whole border of self-body image. She's been through a hell of a lot, and she's done exactly what I was talking about earlier about taking the lessons and using it as a hopeful place to live. And she's got this platform of hope and positivity, and I think she's done a great job with it, and she's such a kind person, and we speak every now and then, and she's just such a great heart, and she's become the most loveliest person from her. She's taken her trauma and used it to build herself better, and I think it's just wonderful.
And 2 others?
Jennifer Aniston, because I do love
Who
her.
doesn't love
She's
Jen
really
Ann?
comical. She's a great actress in that respect. She's just comedy all day long. She's great. And when I'm 50, I best have her bod.
Yes, please. Or J-Lo. Either or.
Well, I'm too small. I look more like a little boy than I do J-Lo. So I'm gonna have to go with Jennifer Aniston because she's petite.
And one more.
One more is my friend Ashley James. I was on Big Brother together, and she does a lot of body positivity for women.
Does,
and she's all
about no editing and things like that.
and I think that's important for young girls to see.
Refreshing.
Because it is. You know, so many times I've looked at things, even to this day, I'll look through and I'm like, great, my skin does not look like that.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I hate my life, and it's
Yeah,
edited.
it
So
is.
it's so nice to see people with big platforms showing actually, hang on.
Doing good. There's been a big shift. I think at the beginning of social media, everything was completely edited, and now it's like, don't edit. We don't want to see that. We want to see all the imperfections.
No, I agree.
One piece of advice you would give your younger self?
To believe in yourself and not listen to others. Like, it doesn't matter what others think of you, it's what you think of yourself, because when you think a certain way of yourself, you will only attract people that think that way of you as well.
Yeah.
So if you think of yourself in a hateful manner, you get shitty people around you, to be quite honest, because you don't love yourself. And how the hell are you going to love anyone else if you don't love yourself?
Very, very true. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us, Jess. You have honestly such a kind soul. You can find Jess on Instagram at Jess_Impiazzi. Make sure you subscribe, like, and ring that bell to get notified on all of our videos. I'm Charlotte Day, and this is House of Influence.
Woo! Yeah.